Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen Theorycraft. Today we're going to look at more of the high tier fighters, more specifically the Super Hornets versus the Sabres. So what's it worth aiming for in the verse or buying now when you're looking at combat and your playstyle? Super Hornets are solid dogfighters. They've got loads of guns and have been deemed brawlers. They've got 3 size 3 hardpoints on the wings and nose, and that size 5 ball turret, allowing you to take a size 4 fixed weapon or 2 size 2 weapons, as well as a complement of 8 size 1 missiles. Also, it boasts powerful shields and is very heavily armoured with lots of hull health. The idea of the Super Hornet is that it can take a beating and keep on coming. It's agile enough to dogfight, though it might not be getting as many hits on the smaller, faster ships, but all it needs to do is outlast them, get some hits on them. It's a bruiser after all. The thing with the Super Hornet, and Hornets in general, is that their speed and agility one-on-one with a faster ship can lead to problems for them. It's got a max speed of 300, and that's based on its single TR4 engine and 23,000 kilograms mass. But for me, when Super Hornets or Hornets are in a wing or have other ships to support them, they can do extremely well. They can take their hits until teammates arrive or the support ships can get into position to take out their enemies. With a group of Hornets, their speed and agility become a lot less relevant, and teamwork, covering each other, allow them to all repel attackers or to get into kill zones. So, another thing with the Super Hornets, I think they'd be great for defending and escorting ships over most other ships, especially over long distances where you might be attacked multiple times. They're able to take that damage and take that beating without much downtime. And you can't overlook the usefulness of that second pilot seat. That pilot could help manage shields and systems, as well as fire that turret much more effectively than you could with just a single pilot. And just as a side note with Hornets and Super Hornets, so the Super Hornet comes with a load of stock upgrades that make it more powerful than the standard Hornet, and the only truly unique thing really that the Super Hornet hull provides over the Hornet is that extra seat. Everything else should be purchasable in-game eventually, like that ball turret, and it will give it some very similar firepower options. Just keep that in mind if you want a cheaper ship or you're a thriftier backer like me. The Sabre is a ninja ship. Single-seater, low profile, low signatures, fast speed. It can have 4 size 3 weapons mounted very close to the centre of the ship, and 6 size 2 missiles. The Super Hornet has the option of that size 4 gun though, or a lot of smaller weapons, but the Sabre's weapons and missiles make it incredibly powerful, especially for alpha strikes. That combined with its stealth role make it an incredibly powerful fighter. Find a target, either sneak up to them or rush them and blam! The Sabre is going to have powerful shields but a relatively weak hull, and that's going to have to rely on speed and agility in large quantities to avoid damage rather than taking it. Whereas the Super Hornet has its 200 max speed. I would expect the Sabre to have a 260 to 280 range of speed. It's got 2 TR3 engines and an 18,000 kilogram mass. I do foresee, however, ballistic weapons really being the bane of Sabre pilots, with each shot having a potential to do some serious damage to the Sabre's hulls and systems. That said, the cross-section is harder to hit than that of the Super Hornets at the front, if it's coming straight towards you, although the actual top-down cross-section of the Sabre is larger than the Super Hornets. So, it's much harder to hit even if you can detect it if it's coming towards you. It's the sort of ship that will do very well by itself. It has the speed to disengage and engage when it wants to in a fight. And even if you're not using stealth to its full advantage, speed and agility are still king for me, and the Sabre should have those both in good measure. For clearing out Vandal quickly, I would expect the Sabre to excel, as well as supporting possibly pirate operations. A wing of Sabres and Cutlass Blacks able to get near unsuspecting targets, disable them and board them. But I feel that the Super Hornet is much more suited for escorting ships, as it can take a pounding. It's an endurance ship versus an offensive sprinter. And because of its speed and general stealthiness, I expect missiles not to be much of an issue for the Sabres to avoid, if you could even lock them in the first place. It's my favourite single-seater fighter, and if the Super Hornet is a warrior or a bruiser, then the Sabre is definitely a rogue or a ninja ship. I would very much like to see the name Super Gladius for the Sabre, as that's basically what it's trying to be on paper, maybe with a little bit of extra stealth added. So I'd pick a Hornet or a Super Hornet if you like to tank damage with lots of shields and health. You want lots of guns and more versatility with your weapons loadouts, because you've got that extra seat, you've got all those different types of turret and hardpoints. You don't mind being sluggish and slow compared to some of the other dogfighting ships. Defending and escorting might be more of the missions you'll want to take on. You like more smaller missiles, size 1 missiles, quite agile. And you like warrior classes in MMOs. And pick a Sabre if you like speed, stealth and agility. Alpha strike, so getting loads of damage onto a target before it can react. You like big missiles. 6 size 2 missiles is a lot of damage. If you like lots of shields, but not much health, and like doing surgical strikes. So it's going to be very much an offensive ship, and it's going to be very good at sneaking up on things. It's going to be very good at disabling larger ship systems, maybe, and being able to get out. Surgical strikes, very good for the Sabre. If you like rogue classes and MMOs as well, that's probably a very good ship for you. I also think that the Sabre might be better for monoboating, so that's literally having all of the same weapon. You could have 4 size 3 weapons on there, all of the same type, and that might work a lot better on the Sabre than it would on a lot of other ships, but have to wait and see about that. But both are going to be great for clearing out, like, player versus environment NPCs for missions. Great for solo play. You're going to be able to fly around in these ships, solo play, really easily. I know the Super Hornet's got that extra seat, but you don't have to use it. It's going to be powerful fighters. Both of them are going to be really powerful fighters for dogfighting. And they're going to be great for both Arena Commander and the Persistent Universe if you're looking for a dogfighter. But that's not to say that Hornets can't attack and that Sabres can't defend. But in my opinion, they're more suitable to those roles due to their speed differences. And of course, some Sabre pilots will be great at defending and escorting ships, being able to run down bombers quickly, for example. And you're going to get wings of Hornets attacking large capital ships too, I'm sure. And when these ships fight each other 1v1, that I expect they'll be quite evenly matched. The agility of the Sabres allowing it to choose when to engage and to avoid most hits, and the Super Hornet at being able to tank a lot of the damage. But those 6 size 2 missiles, for me, mean that the Sabre seem to be the winner. I prefer agility anyways, and the ability to be able to monoboat with 4 size 3 short range ship killing weapons and those missiles. I just feel that the Sabre has a massive advantage, or at least an advantage against equally skilled pilots. But the nature of Star Citizen is not 1v1. There are a multitude of situations that could occur, and a huge amount of loadout options. I thought I'd chuck in a quick word about Vanguards. So, I was having trouble deciding on whether I was going to get a Sabre or a Vanguard. I don't really want one of each major ship role to start the game with anyway. I don't want to spend real life money on getting 2 ships that fulfill similar roles or the same role. And these ships, for me, were to fill a combat and PvE Vandal or alien killing role for me, or pirate killing, whatever. The Vanguard isn't a dogfighter though, it's more of a specialised long-range combat ship that can fit many roles, has a few different hull options, and it's going to be very modular. It's going to be extremely sturdy too, able to take a lot of damage, and even able to lose part of its ship and still return home. It's going to have a lot of high-powered weaponry, missiles and torpedoes. But it's going to be a lot more sluggish than dogfighters, and much, much easier to hit and spot. For me, it seems like much more of a specialised ship, but it would do very well against medium-sized ships like Retaliators or Constellations just by itself. I just feel that it might be a little outpaced in a 1v1 dogfight with something like a Sabre. And for that reason, I've decided to go for the Sabre for myself over a Vanguard. I'll get a Vanguard in-game. I want a ship for clearing out NPCs and missions quickly, and I feel that as long as there's no larger ships, so if you're playing in a Vandal Swarm type scenario, then the Sabre is going to be a lot better. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed my mind map of Theorycraft on the Super Hornet and Sabre. In the comments, please tell me if you have a different opinion on those ships, or if it's think I've missed something, I'm interested in people's playstyles and reasons for them too. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, guys, it really does help me, and I'll see you in the verse. And just a quick afterthought on the Hornet Ghost. So the Ghost is going to be more stealthy than other Hornets, but isn't going to be as stealthy as the Sabre. That void armor that the Ghost has is just going to reduce its signatures, and yes, if you're going for a Hornet class, or you want it to be in a group of Hornets, the Ghost will certainly be more stealthy, but that Sabre is built from the ground up to be a stealth ship.